Hi, this is a video on binomial distribution, section 5.3 of our workbook. All right, so I'm going to just use the workbook table that's here, and we're going to go through each of these. The TI-Nspire calculator keystrokes are right here. So let me show you those right now. So those keystrokes say go. First of all, we either can go to the scratch pad, which is right here, just click on A, or you can go to a new document, add calculator. So I'm going to stay here instead of the scratch pad. I think it's easier to erase it when you go here. So those keystrokes said, click on the menu button once you're here. Number 5, probability. All you have to do, you can go up here using the cursor on your calculator, or you can click on number 5, and then number 5, distribution. Let's try that again. Menu, 5 probability, 5 distribution, and then A or B. A is binomial PDF, B is binomial CDF, and we'll see from the table the difference between the two. So from the table, if you look, there's only one that says PDF, binomial PDF. That's when the number of questions is equal to, which means exactly. Binomial CDF is when X is less than or equal to. Now, if you had your calculator can only do 2 things. It can only do equal to or less than or equal to. Your calculator cannot do less than, it cannot do greater than or equal to, it cannot do greater than. So we have to manipulate it to do what we want it to do. And that's what I'm here to show you. So we're going to take a 6-question true or false test. The probability on a true or false test, the probability of getting a question correct is 0.5, 50%. So if I had 6-question test, I can get 0 correct, 1 correct, 2 correct, 3, 4, 5, or 6 correct. These are the possibilities of getting a question correct. So let's start by getting exactly 4 correct. So we're going to do this first one. Probability of a success. In other words, probability of exactly X equals 4. I want to get 4 questions correct. To do this, we go to binomial PDF. All right, so let's bring up our calculator. We're going to go to menu, number 5 probability, number 5 distribution, and PDF was A. Exactly, PDF is A. The number of trials, N, is 6. There are 6 questions on the test. The probability of success, the probability of getting a question correct, is 0.5. And X is the value that you want. In this case, PDF means correct. We want to get 4 correct. Well, we don't want to get 4 correct. That's the question. What's the probability of getting 4 correct? Not 2 correct, not 3, not 6, 4 correct. So we just type these in here, hit OK, and there's our answer, 0.234375. And then normally we're going to round this to 3 or 4 decimals. Let's do it to 4 decimals, 0.2344 if we round it to 4 decimals. So the probability of getting exactly 4 correct is 0.2344. All right, so next, probability of at most 4 correct. So at most means X is less than or equal to 4. So we want at most 4 correct. So when 4 is at most 4, here's 4. This is the most correct we can have. You can have 3 correct, you can have 4 correct, you can have 2 correct, 1 correct, or a 0 correct. At most means that's the highest correct you can have. So when we say at most, we're doing less than or equal. That's a CDF. That's different from the top, this one. So we're doing CDF this time, which is B on our calculator. B on our calculator. Okay, so, and it will tell us, it will add up the probability of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. At most is all of these we could get correct. We could get 4 correct, we could get 3, 2, 1, or 0. So let's try this on our calculator. Menu, number 5, distribution. And then we want CDF, B on our calculator. The number of trials, there are 6 questions on the test. The probability of success is 0.5. And at most, we want 4 correct. And I want to hit OK. There's a probability of getting at most 4 correct. 0.8906. Okay, now if you look over here on the right, this helps out a little also. It tells you that X is the same number that we're using right here. X is the same number, you know, that we're using here or here, 4 and 4. So we're just putting 4 into the X spot. Watch the next question and see how that's doing. What's the probability of getting fewer than X, fewer than 4 correct? Well, fewer than 4 correct is 3, 2, 1, or 0. That doesn't mean getting 4 correct. We want fewer than 4 correct. So in this case, if we look over here, the number that we put in for X is going to be 1 that less than this number, because fewer than 4 is 3, 2, 1, or 0. So we're putting 4 minus 1 into our calculator, which is 3. So in this case, when we say X is less than 4, which is the same thing as saying fewer than 4, we're really putting 3 into our calculator using CDF. If you notice, all of these are going to be using CDF, except exactly uses PDF. So X is 3 in this case. Fewer than 4 means 3 can be correct, 2, 1, or 0 can be correct. So on our calculator, we're going to do this. Fewer than 4, we're going to go to Menu, 5 Probability, 5 Distribution, B, CDF, number of trials. There are 6 questions. The probability of getting a question correct is 0.5. And we're going to do fewer than 4, which means X minus 1, 4 minus 1 is 3. Fewer than 4 is 3 or less, between 0 and 3. You see the 0's on there automatically, between 0 and 3. So when I hit OK, there's my probability. Probability of fewer than 4 is 0.6563 if you round it to 4 decimal places. All right. Next, we're going to do at least 4. So I'm changing X. Now we're going to use 4 in all of these cases. So at least 4. Let me erase all these. At least 4, which means 4 is the smallest. It's at least 4. So this is correct, this is correct, and this is correct. At least 4 means 4 can be correct, 5 can be correct, or 6 can be correct. So at least 4 means these 3 can be correct. Well, we've already know that CDF only goes to the left. When we did this one, X is less than or equal to 4, we did all of these. CDF only can do straight to, to whatever number we say, the calculator can do to the left. So I'm going to change my color here. If you look over here to the right, they want us to do 1 minus the binomial CDF. So this tells us 1 minus the binomial CDF. So let's try doing this. So my number is 4. X is 4, but over here it says you have to do 1 less than X, which is 4 minus 1 is 3. In other words, if all of these are correct, that would be 100%. But we're doing 4, 5, and 6 correct. So that means we're going to do 1 minus these. If we subtract these, X is less than or equal to 3, then we'll get these 3. Do you see? If we do the whole thing minus the red underlined ones, X is less than 3, we'll get the answer. So let's try that. On my calculator, at least 4 means 1 minus using 3. So on here, I'm going to do 1 minus menu, number 5 probability, number 5 distribution, CDF, B. There are 6 questions, 0.5, and we're using 3. When I hit OK, it does the work for us. 0.3438. So the probability for this one is 0.3438. Okay, so now there's an easier way rather than doing the 1 minus, and I'm going to show you that. We already know at least 4 means 4, 5, and 6. So we're only going to use 4, 5, and 6 correct. So let's do the same thing. 4 is the lower number correct. 6 is the higher number correct. So let's go through this and see if we get the same answer. Watch how I do this now. Menu, number 5 probability, number 5 distribution, and A, B is CDF, number trials is 6. To get a correct answer, you have a 50% chance of getting it correct. The lower bound is 4. Remember, the lower bound was 4. The lower number was 4 correct, and the higher number was 6 correct. When I hit OK, do you see how I get the same answer? So we don't have to use 1 minus and then plug in 3. We could just say 4, 5, or 6. The lower boundary is 4 and the upper boundary is 6. So there's 2 ways of going about that. So I'm not going to, me personally, I wouldn't use 1 minus. I would try to stick with the lower and the upper boundary as long as you understand what the lower and upper boundary is. So let's do the next one, trying to understand what the lower and upper boundary is. That's why I draw these numbers. You can get 0 right, 1 right, 2 right, 3, 4, 5, or 6 right. Here it says at probability of more than 4 successes. So I'm using 4 for every number here just to show you. So probability of more than 4. In other words, X is greater than 4. Numbers that are greater than 4, it doesn't say greater than or equal to like this one did. At least means 4 is part of it. This was X is greater than or equal to 4. This problem, at least 4, means X is greater than or equal to 4. 4 is the least number. Here it just says it has to be more than 4. These are the only numbers more than 4. Because it doesn't say equal sign. More than doesn't mean equals. So my lower boundary is 5 and my upper boundary is 6. So let's do that. More than 4, lower boundary is 5, upper boundary is 6. Menu, number 5 probability, number 5 distribution, and we're going to go to B. 6 questions. To get a question correct is a 50% chance. The lower boundary we said was 5. The upper boundary was 6. When I hit correct, there's my answer, 0.1094. 0.1094. All right, I hope this video helped. If you notice, I mean, in all of these, the only one that didn't have a lower and an upper was this first one because it only had an exact. You could say 2 numbers right, 3 numbers right, 4 numbers right. probability of getting exactly 4 questions out of 6 correct. And there's your probability. All right. I hope this video helped.